Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Ducksy Gaming and the next episode of the Layback Exile. I've had another evening to play on the EA totem build, with the goal being to finish bonus completion on every non-unique map, which I got done, and complete at least one boss invitation that again I've got completed. The aim for the character is always to clear the Atlas, get the first 2 voice stones if I could, which we obtained in the last episode, and then get the build capable of doing the majority of the content. So I've got it into a position where I'm really happy with it, and I can now move on and look at other builds, knowing that if I need to farm certain things, the explosive arrow character is going to be able to do it. I had more luck 6-linking. I 6-linked a short bow and a couple of 100 fusings, crafted it, and I've now got a +3 bow with the 21 gem and the +1 amulet, so my explosive arrow is now level 21. The build with determination and grace feels nice and tanky, and then it's got molten shell and vile molten shell to throw into the mix. Didn't do too much content other than clearing the maps. I've killed Shaper twice and then completed the Elder Guardian invitation. There was a couple of deaths because I think the problem with this character is because I don't really need to progress it anymore in levels, and I know it's got the DPS, I'm really just YOLOing invitations. I'm not really paying too much attention because I know in 6 portals I'm going to get them cleared. So as I say, I'm happy the build's where it is at the moment. I'm not really in any rush to get full void stones at this stage. I want to try some different builds and have some fun. So the next build I'm running in SSF, it's pretty experimental, as I could only find one person playing any version of it, and it's a super min-maxed energy blade version, which is 1,000,000,000% not viable for this SSF playthrough, and it's going to be a charge dash trickster. Now I've already made quite a bit of progress. I spent a whole day on this character because I was enjoying it so much. Leveled it through the campaign using charge dash, and it was pretty comfortable. Got to maps today. Luckily, the 6-link I had on the explosive arrow character matches the colors for this build. Now, as my 6-link for that character has now moved into the bow, I can craft a new chest on that character that doesn't need to be linked, and I've been able to move a really good 6-link with life and spell suppression over to this character. I've also been able to pass a lot of the older gear that I had on my explosive arrow character that I've now superseded with better gear to get that character really ready for maps as soon as it left the campaign. Now, the plus points about the build and why I've picked Trickster is that the ascendancy that we pick makes movement skills cost no mana, which means things like Charge Dash, Whirling Blades, Withering Step don't cost any mana whatsoever. It just means I need to link the last few skills up like a Totem and maybe a Curse with Life Tap, and it means I can reserve all of my mana without any worries. So I'm going to build it around Claws and Nightblade support. Nightblade support is so overpowered, and I want to use it before it inevitably gets nerfed in some way or another. We get really good power charge and frenzy charge generation being a trickster. So on bosses and mapping, we're going to have full charges. Clear is okay, but I don't have any extra AoE on my gear. So it often means I have to maybe hit a pack twice because some stragglers survived. If things like there's trees or stuff around, they don't get killed by the AoE explosions, it's pretty annoying. Herald of Ice does quite a good job of mopping up smaller enemies, but I do need to look at ways to get more AoE into the build. Single target is going to be an issue. Like I think at the moment I'm at about 400k Shaper DPS, but this is going to be my mapping build. So as long as it's tanky enough to kill T16 bosses and do semi-juice maps, then that's all I want this build to do, because I've got my explosive arrow character to fall back on to do like bosses, invitations and things like that. And I've already cleared my Atlas, so I don't need to worry about having to run like really juice corrupted red maps. Now I picked the skill because it's one I did a few leagues ago, and I did really enjoy it. I did it on a raider last time because I had a lightning strike raider. I just bought a charge dash gem, made a few changes to the skill tree, and then it ran perfectly. Raider and assassin might have been a better choice for single target, but just the comfort of never having to worry about mana is really nice. Because on bosses, where let's say I do decide to boss, in order to get your charges up, you have to channel, and then you get a charge every second. If I had to spend mana to do that, then I'm going to be struggling because I'll go into the boss with no mana flask, or it means I have to run a mana flask. And I do find the skill really fun. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and it's by no means a good skill, but I'm quite enjoying it. So when I planned this video, the character was only level 73. But then I did a bit of play on my lunch and then after work and got it to level 80. So I'll do a map showcase at the end just to show what the character's like at level 80 or 79, I think it might be. The character is spell suppressed capped, gets 45 from the 6-link, It's got good evasion and grace, so it does feel, especially just in yellow maps, really, really tanky. And I've never once felt in danger of dying. Now, at some point, if I decide to push this character, grace probably isn't going to be the option. It's probably going to be something like armor and energy shield. Boost up the energy shield, get the trickster ascendancy that regens your energy shield on kill. Just means it's going to be a mapping machine. Now, the next episode is going to be sort of leveling the build into the late 80s and then seeing how the single target feels when the gems are leveled. So I'm going to do a map showcase shortly, and I'll talk about some of the cons of where the build is at the moment. But the main thing, single target I can live with. It's fine because I don't ever feel like I'm going to die. But AoE does feel a bit rubbish. So something like a Carcass Jack would be perfect, as it gives me loads more AoE. Or I get my damage up so much that I can slot an AoE gem into the build, and that'll make a massive difference. The other option would be, if I really, really want to soup this, is I can maybe try and craft an explode chest, but in SSF, I don't know if I want to even go down that route. Another chest option would be Bronze Lith, which works really well with movement skills. It gives you +2 to movement skill gems and gives you lots more damage for movement skills and gives you more movement speed. The other thing I might look to farm is a Blizzard Crown, as that would obviously add a ton of flat damage. But being able to build an off-meta character like this in SSF is 100% not something I would have ever attempted as the first character, as I imagine leveling Charge Dash on a 4-link with hardly any gear would be pretty awful, and the single target would be almost non-existent. But if you did decide, for whatever reason, this is a skill you want to play and it's your first SSF playthrough, you could level with Spectral Helix and transition to Charge Dash after Merc Lab once you get to maps, and maybe pick up a 5-link, and I'm pretty sure it'll be fine for white maps. Now, I'm not holding out any expectations or goals for this build. I just want to play it to level 90-ish, see how it feels, and just have some fun. I found recently I've just been doing stuff, not for the sake of doing it, but because I feel like it's something I should be doing, and at times I'm just not enjoying it. So the way I'm looking at the game now is, am I enjoying this particular bit? Yes, I'll carry on. If it's a no, then I'll stop and do something else. So if it does end up bombing at lower tier red maps and is just terrible, then I'll move on and look for another build. But this is kind of the first build where I've not really had any POBs, POE Ninja or anything to lean on because no one's played anything like this. As I said, it was one build this league, but it's a super min-maxed Energy Blade version that bears no resemblance at all to the build I'm running. So I've kind of taken what I know from the Lightning Strike Raider, wedged it into Trickster because Charge Dash is a lightning skill, and then made the adjustments needed to hopefully make the build at least function at red maps. So that's it for kind of the explanation of the episode. So let's jump straight into the map showcase, and then I'll close out the video. So before we close out the video, I'll just run a quick map showcase because I said I've advanced the character a fair bit in terms of levels since I planned on making the video. So I'm just going to run a tier 9 at the moment. So I'm level 79. So I don't need to run anything too high because I'll still get max experience from a tier 9 map. So it's just an Alps map, nothing too dangerous on it. So we'll go in and I'll just show the character and demo how it goes. As I said, the clear is okay, but I really could do more AoE because even with Herald of Ice explosions, there's often some mobs that are left at the end and it can get a little annoying. Why did they not die? Okay, I have no idea. And it's just working out how best to do single target because you need to try and get the chain or whatever it is, the projection that you cast out. The further it goes, the more stages you get, which means you get a bigger explosion at the end. I would say this is on pretty decent, well, I say pretty decent gear. It's okay gear. It's kind of what I had on the Explosive Arrow character before I upgraded the gear. And I've yoinked the 6-link chest from the Explosive Arrow character because it was luckily the same colour sockets. Before that I was running a tab. This helps out because it caps my spell suppression. As you can see, this is the problem with the clear at the moment. It's a lot of hitting because the AoE at the end is not great. So we could either look to get a Carcass Jack, which can improve it, or maybe once my DPS gets better, I can stick an increased AoE gem in there. But at the moment, I can't afford the DPS loss on bosses because I've only got about, I don't know, 400k shape of DPS single target, I would think. But as I say, this build wasn't designed to be this all-conquering build. I just wanted something different to play, and this is a fun skill that I have played before. I just wanted to give it a go. It has, like I said, it has its problems. Don't get me wrong. It definitely has its problems. But it's actually a bit smoother than I thought it would be. As long as you just ignore stragglers and don't go back to them, because your map clear takes forever. The good thing about it is you don't have any mana worries with movement skills or the main ability. This probably wasn't a good map to showcase it with all the trees, because they just get in the way of your movement skills.
You won't escape me, little piggy.
It's probably not a good map to showcase because he moves around so much, but yeah, there's a lot of work to do on single target, but because we've got Fortify, got pretty good evasion through Grace, the survivability is pretty decent. We'll just go and clear a bit more of the map, because I'm a bit low on yellow maps because I've had my other characters been farming red maps. So there should be another section to go into in this map. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just go and demonstrate the crap clear a bit more.
Just in time.
So if it sounds good, like Hell Device explosions are always fun. Normally, I'd say there might be a bit of a cosmetic thing on some builds, but this build it definitely helps. But trees are annoying. Like, it doesn't have the problem with lightning strike with elevation, because as a movement skill, it goes over anything that isn't a solid wall. So that's a plus point. This, when you're in trees, though, is annoying because the enemies will get blocked. If you hit a group of enemies and there's one hiding behind a tree, it will get blocked. Goes through bubbles, which is nice. Not when they got stupid Nemesis mods on them, though. Okay, I think that'll do. Yeah, that'll do for clear. I can't bother to clear the rest of the map. It's really just to showcase the problems with the build, and it is really, well, clear and single target, but the build is fun, and I think I can get it up to sort of 1.5 million DPS. All I want this for is mapping. This build is not going to touch bosses because I've got the explosive arrow character for that. This build is designed to be a fast mapper, which is exactly why I need to get the AoE up. So if anyone's got any suggestions for how to increase AoE, it'd be really, really helpful. I'd say there's things I can farm in the next episodes to try and increase that, but at the moment the build does fine as it is with the fairly basic gear that it's got. So next few episodes are going to be really pushing the levels up, getting it into red maps, getting Uber Lab done, which I definitely need more single target for, and then we'll see where we go from there. It might be that I push it to early mid red maps, don't like it, and then re-roll again. The whole point in this series is to show that you can have fun in SSF and you don't have to no life it with 6 or 7 hours a day on the game. That's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.